Nancy is not only the president of the local Women in Technology nonprofit organization, which is focused around promoting technology. Nancy is also a vice president at the Nemo Company, where she's focused on executive coaching and development.
Thanks, Elaine. Thanks, everybody, for joining us this afternoon. We have a panel of very accomplished and distinguished senior women executives in the technology field. This is, even though we're all women up here, in case you haven't noticed yet, the fact is we're here to really talk and share some information about having your voice heard, whether you're a man or a woman. We're more focused on the fact as technologists, each of us at some point in our career could potentially struggle with how do we have our voice heard. By voice, I mean more than just talking. It is really as a leader, as a team member, how do you get your ideas out there? How do you have what we call, in my field, leadership presence at any level of the organization? So that's what we're going to get some insights from our panel today on some of the things they've learned throughout their career and potentially can share with you. We're also going to, I have a few questions that we're going to start out with after I introduce the panel. Then we're going to open it up to a few questions from the audience too, in case there's some particular aspect of this topic that you're interested in, okay? So let me introduce our panelists now. We first have Dr. Michelle Lee. Michelle is the Senior Director of Software Engineering at GeoEye. Dr. Lee has over 20 years of technical management experience in the wireless, internet, bioinformatics, and geospatial sectors. She holds a PhD in information technology, a master's in science in computer science, and also her executive MBA from Georgetown. Welcome, Michelle, to the panel. Next, we have Carolyn Dechter. She's the Director of Partnership Integrations at Evernote, and it's a company whose mission is to help the world remember everything, communicate effectively, and get things done. In the work with the platform team, Carolyn focuses on the success of Evernote's large development partners and the expansion of the platform. She holds a BA in computer science and a minor in computer engineering from Dartmouth. Next is Colleen Oreski. Colleen is Senior VP and Operations Manager at SAIC. She graduated with a Bachelor's in Engineering from the University of Michigan and a Master's in Engineering Management from George Washington University. And early in her career, she worked directly with customers as a software developer, researcher, systems engineer, and program manager. I'm happy to say Colleen is on board along with Women in Technology, and she's also on the board of Women in Aerospace. And then we have Vanita Dillon, and she is the EVP for Product Strategy and Engineering at Dell Tech. She's responsible for managing market and product strategy for Dell Tech's global software and hardware product lines. With over 21 years of experience in the software industry, delivering commercial products and custom solutions. Vanita also has a computer science degree from the University of Maryland. So, welcome, panelists, and thank you for joining us today. So, the first question that I want to start our conversation with is ask each one of the panelists to share an anecdote from their career where they had that first kind of aha moment about how to get their ideas across better and first in a serious way. So, Michelle, you want to start us off? Do you have a story you'd like to tell?
Sure, thank you. The story, in my story, is actually I started as a software engineer. So as a techie, and I learned a few communication lessons the hard way. And so, just in case you can't tell, I was one of those initial nerds. I have kind of master's degree in computer science and a PhD as a technical engineer, architect, and I focused more on the message I want to communicate and less on the person I want to communicate it to. So okay, you got to believe in me because what I tell is the truth. And it's right. And the less the audience, what I communicate with right things too. Right things to me does not mean right things to the person I'm talking to. And so because all of us have different experiences, different background, different motivations, the same sentence, same text was perceived differently by different people, depending on who I'm talking to. So I really learned that the hard way, and I realized that as a technologist, and just saying the right things or just speak the truth is not enough. So that's where I realized, okay, I'm better to learn to communicate better, to have a global picture of what's going on with the business, and to personalize my message to whom am I talking to. And when I talk to the financial people, focus more on what's in it for them, the bottom line, the top line. And when talk to marketing, try to talk in marketing language, in sales language, and try to say, okay, think from their perspective. The key is what's in it for them. And if I just tell them how cool this technology is, you should really be as excited as I am because it's true. A lot of times I see it right over the head. So by learning it the hard way, I learned to customize my messages to the person I'm talking to be more personalized. Okay, thanks.
Great advice, thank you.
Carolyn, you want to share yours?
Yeah,
Sure. I would also agree with that completely. Two things I noticed in communicating. One was tailoring the message to the audience. Anecdotally, one thing I had a story about was I was doing sales training and talking about our product to a sales team, and you could just see everyone just falling asleep and just really learning to tailor the message. So I completely agree. The other thing that I really found over time also was trying to be more succinct. Someone once told me, if you want to be understood and heard, say fewer things. As you can tell, I'm still working on that. But that was also a very important thing.
I too agree with a lot of what they're saying, making sure that the audience can understand what you're saying. But my big aha moment came when I realized that as a leader, I was setting the strategic direction and the vision and everything, but I actually knew that I was communicating when the people that worked for me were actually telling me what I had told them. So that was a big aha for me, that I didn't have to be the one that was telling the idea to know that it got heard. It was working for me, telling the idea back to me, and telling the other people, our colleagues, and some of my other peers and things like that. So it really accomplishes what these other ladies are saying in terms of making sure that the audience has a message, and then hearing that audience repeat it back to you.
Thank you. Back in my career I started out at IBM as an engineer, a software developer. They were actually very adamant that we not call ourselves engineers. Not engineering school, but that's fine. But I learned how to communicate as a software developer to other software developers, just watching them. A few years after that, I had to present status to a director. I had to let them know how the project was going. And so I had prepared, and I learned a little bit. I knew nothing about all the technical details. You take all the experience that you're learning. But, a few days before the meeting, my manager told me, and you'll have to present it in PowerPoint, even though there's not a projector. Who wants to see everything in PowerPoint? And I remember, I'll be a little bit reverent, thinking, well, that's a waste of my time having to take this, put it in PowerPoint. But as I was explaining the project and the status to him, what I realized in my aha moment was he was a visual learner. He actually needed to see it in order to understand the information. I am a very verbal learner. You can actually show me what's going on, and I can see the whatever it is, an architecture diagram, status report, whatever it might be. And that's when I realized different people actually assimilate information
show on who is your audience, and sometimes even what do they need to understand what you're saying. So, I know that this guy is pretentious and needed PowerPoints. No, that's how people are. So that was one person. Use that information and then tailor that information.
Great. Let's dive a little deeper, and since we have an audience, we're talking about here making your message pertinent to the audience. And talk a little bit about communication and maybe some of the special challenges that you think that those of us in technology maybe have in getting our voices heard and our messages out.
I'll start. I think one of the items that comes up a lot is that in a technology role, you need to know everything very deeply. And so when you're communicating to other people, whether they're all fellow engineers or if you're communicating to other parts of the company, it's how do you communicate that in a way that doesn't bring them into the nuts and bolts of everything, because especially if you're talking to marketing or sales, other roles like that, they don't need to know all of the background and all of the details. However, you still need to have that ability to dive deeply. So I think it's just being able to transition and jump from subject to subject with those.
In my opinion, do your homework in workplace and earn